Guess who's back? Back again. Yeah, these metagame trends are by far always cute to see. Make sure you guys smash the living crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more awesome content. So what in the world has brought me back to Alistair the Invoker? Because, I sit here, I have no life. I look through all of this tournament data existing on the internet, and I'm always pretty impressed just to see what we find. But I've seen 6 lists this week, all sporting off Alistair the Invoker. And there were a couple lists before that from the OTS Championships of people playing Alistair the Invoker. We have found ourselves back at a time right now where Alistair and Branded are kind of incorporating themselves into the same deck. Now, you're probably like, who gives a crap, Robbie? Alistair the Invoker, it's bad. I'm just gonna... Here's the thing about this. Alistair the Invoker does something that Branded wishes they could do. It puts a negate on the field. And protecting your investment this format actually kind of matters a lot. Also, Alistair the Invoker, depending on how you're able to start sub-combo with it, can actually help you play through back row a little bit easier. So if you normal summon Alistair, go search for the invocation, and your opponent sees the Alistair, they're like, huh, that's not good. They're going to have to either immediately try to answer the Alistair by not letting it resolve. It also eats an Ash target. Do you know how many people Ash the Alistair to stop the invocation? Because that's just, I think everybody's just got it programmed into their heads at this point. That they see the Alistair, they're like, hey, let's Ash it. Which means you can now do all of your Branded subline plays that you could have ever wanted to do, which means the Branded Fusion's not getting ashed. That is actually pretty good, all right? Also, Invocation also gets to act as a good fusion spell for the deck. I actually kind of like that. It's another little sub means for you to do the thing. Well, Robbie, what if we do the link plays? Turn the Alistair. Stop it. You can, depends on the build. If you're playing the Branded build, no, you're not doing that, all right? You like your Branded Fusion. Branded Fusion is the thing. Actually, the evolution that Branded has taken over the last couple weeks has been very interesting, because for a majority of this format, it was always Chimera Runic, Chimera Branded, and those were like, that was it. Like, you were doing that. Well, over the last couple weeks, we've seen the Chimera stuff just dipping out of competitive play. And yes, I did read the comments from people that are like, no, Chimera's not going to leave competitive play. It has a good Fire King matchup, Robbie. You just want to get rid of it. And it's like, okay, well, you can have a good matchup against one deck, but when the meta has 19 viable decks in it right now, from top of the meta down to the bottom of Rogue, and you're telling me because you have one good matchup that you're going to bump back up, if you're going into a 10-round tournament, you might play not even, guess what, half of those decks. That also means that if you have a good Fire King matchup with the Chimera stuff, you might only play 1 to 2 Fire Kings pre Phantom Nightmare. So that's something to kind of keep in mind out here. If you're like, hey, yeah, I know what I'm talking about. Variance. Say it with me, everybody. Variance. Yay. It's always going to be this way. And this is what I like about diverse formats, when you can see, back to Alistair, I had to get the little Chimera note out of my system, because reading that, I was like, okay, that's fine. You can have a good matchup, but you're not always going to play your best matchup. Honestly, I feel like at most points, you're probably going to play more of your mid to terrible matchups than your good matchups. If we were guaranteed that we were going to be able to play against the best deck in the room 100 times over, which is one of 3 decks, by the way, which good luck trying to figure out that. You're not always going to be guaranteed for that, but what do I know? So, Alistair the Invoker. I am impressed. I really am. For the meta to draw us back in at this point, and to show us that, we can still do something with this is cool. My only problem with this, I think this is just temporary. You have to remember, we can see over there. Over there is the horizon, all right? You can see it, all right? Well, you can't see what's beyond the camera here, but it's called Phantom Nightmare, all right? Whatever the trends are at this current point in time, they're not 100% going to transition over because transaction rollback are cards. Bonfire is searchability. That gives Centurion a whole bunch of outs. Yeah, by the way, so fun little note about Centurion. As the cards do continue to go up in prices, more and more people pick it up. People like, it's just a Calamity Lock deck. If it's just a Calamity Lock deck, then why... Here, I'll come closer. Why do we play Cosmic Blazar? Why do we play, these other options? Why do we play a Horus package in the deck? Other than to give the deck other combo lines. The deck is linear, all right? If you are simple-minded with just wanting to Calamity Lock your opponent, all right? That is, on the surface, the most basic functionality of said pile of cards at the moment. And I understand why people think that, all right? If you look, it's also... reminds me of the people the other day that didn't know how Calamity worked. Did you know that people didn't realize that Calamity was only on the field? We had people out here that thought that Calamity stopped graveyard in hand as well. That blows my mind that people still thought that Calamity was a full turn jam of everything. No, it's field only. And I bring it, some people are like, oh, well, you still lose the game. No, Vice Deals can be used as defense. You have a lot of options to kind of do your thing. And also, back to the point here of Centurion. Centurion's grind game actually can be quite brutal if you're not prepared. That deck can generate a crap ton of resources very, very quickly. And I don't think a lot of people are too prepared for that overall. So that's something for you to kind of keep in mind out here, especially, if you're underestimating that. I always bring this up to people, the saying caught with your pants down is a classic example of being caught with your pants down. But in this sense, it's being unprepared for a matchup. If you think that, you go into the matchup, you're like, I just got to stop the Calamity Lock. And all of a sudden you're getting pummeled by, all these different Horus monsters and, Cosmic Blazar Dragon. And you set up an immediate play not expecting that they would go down, the linear path. It just, you're going to lose. That's all it is at this point. So we have a lot of trends and a lot of interesting things happening in the meta right now. Whether or not these stick around or if these are just fads, I think are very interesting. The unprepared side of the Centurion players and the coping with that deck is absolutely terrible. I think it's hilarious. It does have regional tops now. All right, it's not one of those, enters into the room and doesn't do bad or doesn't do anything like Valmonica and Memento at this point in time. By the way, Konami, where's my Link 1 Memento? I say this every time we mention the word Memento. Where's the Link 1? You worded these cards for a Link 1. Give us the gosh darn Link 1 already so we can play this stupid deck competently. All right, that's all I'm saying. All right. So, outside of that, do you think Alistair the Invoker is going to stick around as a tech choice? Yeah, I would really consider it a tech choice at this point because it is something that you're dropping into the branded package to kind of help things out. The Mech Knight build doesn't exist anymore. That thing has been absolutely power crept on into oblivion. Do you think that, this is more of a trend or something is going to stick around? And please leave a comment down below for the poor souls that have been talking about Centurion as if the deck has one basic functionality and it's Calamity Lock forever. I love it. You love to see it. And, of course, you guys have a good rest of your weekend. And I will see your beautiful faces back here later in the day, guys. Peace out.
Patrons! Thank you. Ah!
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.